Well, welcome back to the Johannesburg Zoo, where we follow the sun here, showcasing Johannesburg, the city of Johannesburg. You know, a lot of people stay home for the festive season in Joburg, and they allow all of the Joburg residents to leave the city and go to, whether it be their hometowns or villages, or they go to different holiday destinations around the country, which we've been showcasing. But many decide to stay home and enjoy some of the wonderful places to visit here in Johannesburg that they don't necessarily get to do during the busy working time of the year. One of those places is the Joburg Zoo. 120 years of age is what the Joburg Zoo is. It was celebrating 120 years of existence through this year, and I know it was in March, it was back in March that they were actually giving free entry to people that were born in March. So you can't take them up on that offer anymore. That was then, this is now, but that was their birthday celebration. Now they've got the Festival of Lights, they've got all these magnificent animals that they have got here at the zoo that's in an area where we basically nestled between Saxon World and Forest Town, and you've got the big five that are here. But besides the big five, you've also got things like the tigers. I don't know if you can see one. One of them was sitting right up there on that jungle gym, and they just moved. I call it a jungle gym. It's not a jungle gym, but they've moved there to the rock over there. And these here are Siberian tigers, actually. Just a little bit about them. They're actually an endangered species. They weigh between 100 and 306 kilograms, 1.6 meters to 2.1 meters high. And that's pretty much so, a little bit about them. And they are mostly from eastern Russia and northern China. So he's giving us a little bit of a show there. I don't know if you can find him on the rock. No, he can't. The cameraman's struggling to get this one, but he's lying on his back and looking absolutely magnificent, I must say, that Siberian tiger that we've got over there. Well, from perhaps one leader to another, I've got the Joburg mayor with me as well. So we figured it would be a great spot to have him here by the tigers. Mayor Dada Morero, lovely to have you here on the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning.
When was the last time you came to the zoo?
I think it was a year ago.
Yeah?
I missed the celebration in March.
Yeah.
I think I was committed to some other things, but I think around last year.
Last year. Well, I mean, I suppose you took over mayor in August, so now this has sort of become one of the places that you need to showcase as the city of Johannesburg, and something that is important. Now, let me go back to the reason that we're here is because the Premier, we were interviewing him at the start of the Follow the Sun campaign, and we were asking about the state of the zoo and whether it was in good condition and how the animals are, and he said, you've got to come and visit, it's amazing. So that's why we are here. So perhaps you want to talk a little bit to us about the zoo.
Well, perhaps let's start by appreciating the fact that the zoo over the years has actually evolved. We are currently sitting at just over 2,000 animals, and we probably sitting at about 282 species in the zoo, which is an indication of growth. And over and above what we do here at the zoo, we also have a farm just outside Johannesburg in Paris, where we also do a bit of conservation and agriculture, and some of the agricultural products are the ones that we used to bring to feed the animals in the zoo. And over and above, there's a lot of activities that we do during this period, where there's the Festival of Lights in the evening, where people are welcomed to come and listen to music and generally enjoy the zoo. So there's quite a number of things that the zoo is doing and providing to communities in Johannesburg.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, you know, there were many issues at one stage with different kinds of zoos, and the Pretoria Zoo came under a lot of fire for the state that it was in. We've done quite an extension to our producers were here yesterday as well, looking at the condition of the animals, and besides that, looking at the infrastructure here as well. And I must say, they have been saying that it looks like it's in a good condition. The animals certainly in a good condition, but some people are very much so against having zoos in cities. I don't know, have you got an opinion on something like this?
Well, zoos have evolved. I mean, the International Union on Conservation of Nature is part of the organization that has approved and agreed to zoos and aquariums, because we have now realized that zoo is no longer it's no longer just about viewing the animals. There's more into the zoo. We're doing sorts of things, lots of things in the zoo, including freezing the eggs, or what we call the freezing of the zoo. So there's a lot of things that we do because we are also alive to the fact that we're losing some of the animals in the forest as a result of poaching and all sorts of things. So it is important to protect the animals and ensure that there's proper conservation of these species into the future, so that future generations are not denied the opportunity of these animals who would have been extinct as a result of poaching and other sorts of things that are happening in the wild.
Yeah, and it's incredibly important, and I'm glad we addressed that. But we certainly are going to speak a little bit more about that in our next interview here on Morning Live. While I have you here, and one of the biggest problems that we're facing in Johannesburg is water, and you know this. And there's no way that I can do an interview with you without addressing the crisis that we've got. You had a massive meeting yesterday as well with a lot of, particularly from the commerce sector, and people that were really explaining how difficult conditions are with the water situation, with the throttling of the water supply, with the status of the infrastructure. And we're reading that there's a 27 billion rand backlog on infrastructure. This is a big problem we're facing, Mayor.
Well, we had a good meeting yesterday with property owners and businesses in Johannesburg that were able to attend our meeting. There's big challenges on the water, and we thought we should take them through frankly and openly about the challenges. Part of the challenges we are faced with is water infrastructure that has aged, and part of it has a number of leaks. So we're losing water through leaks, and as a result, we're unable to give a constant supply of water to our residents. Secondly, Johannesburg is we are a population of about 5.8 million, and our water consumption has even went beyond our apportionment from rainwater, which requires us, one, to try and reduce our consumption. Two, we are also doing a bit of maintenance in some areas where you'd find that there's no water during the period of maintenance, so that we can fix the leaking pipes to ensure that there's constant supply. Yes, our backlogs are huge, sitting at about 27 billion, and we hope that we'll be able to raise some of the money out in the market, where we can then raise capital to see how best we can address this thing. But reality is, with business partners, the city and the financial institutions, we think we'll be able to raise the capital to address the backlog. And from the city's coffers, we'll also continue to put money and increase, of course, on our capital expenditure to try and address the infrastructure backlogs.
Certainly, but the reality really is that we should never be in a situation like this, should we? I mean, looking at the infrastructure, it's falling apart. I mean, Johannesburg is one of those cities where, you unfortunately look at it and you almost see it's hanging on by a thread. And when the water starts going down and people haven't had water for weeks, we turn to you for leadership. And unfortunately, it just feels like the residents of Joburg are being failed.
No, it would not be an honest or truthful assessment of whether we are failing. We are saying to the residents, these are the challenge. And what is it that we are doing with this challenge? One, we have increased our teams to ensure that we can respond to any queries logged over the weekends and resolve the bias pipes, resolve the water supply throughout, resolve the valves. I'll make an example. Over the weekend, we had communities in Protea for the last 10 days have not had water. We're able to establish where the problem is. The problem was in one of the valves. But what has happened over time, communities are actually encroached and built over water infrastructure. And we're just lucky that the valve was not under a house, was just between the the wall and the house, and we had to go in and resolve the problem. And from Saturday, the community set water. So it's important that we also call upon our residents, households, not to encroach. We must also call upon those who continue to connect illegally to desist from illegal connection of water. We also call upon those who bypass meters to stop bypassing meters, because it reduces our ability to collect revenue and be able to reinvest into the water infrastructure. So we are up to the game. We are aware of the challenges. We are working round the clock to address those challenges. And in fact, today our CEO will also be going out into the media to address some of the technical issues that continue to affect us. But we're also calling on residents to exercise a bit of patience, especially in areas where they don't have water, as we'll continue to provide water tankers and all sorts of things. We are currently on level stage 1 restrictions, and we are calling on our residents to exercise discipline and use water sparingly. Otherwise, it will force us to get to day 0, and we don't want to get to level 3 restrictions.
Yeah, we certainly don't, and especially with the weather conditions we're going through at the moment. So, Mayor, we're heading up to our news time, but we do have to ask you this question. Follow the sun is what we've been doing here. And as the mayor of Johannesburg, do you get an opportunity to follow the sun and go on holiday anywhere? Or is this the busiest time for you? But where do you enjoy going with the family and just sort of relaxing?
Oh, we're in a busy period, unfortunately. As you know, there's water issues, so we can't go out and enjoy ourselves. But of course, the city has provided entertainment to residents, whether it's the Festival of Lights. We're also doing some inner city festival on New Year's Eve. So there's a number of activities that are there. So in the Soweto Theatre, this year there's a New Year's Eve party. All residents are invited to be there. So there's quite a number of activities. Joburg is the place to be during this festive period.
I would imagine. And you definitely can't leave it. And you've also got a big decision coming out on the 8th of January with what's going to happen with the future of the leadership here in Gauteng. But that's a topic for another day. We got to leave it there. There's just so much on your plate right now, Mayor.
Yeah.
But thank you for taking time to come and visit us here at the zoo.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. All right. It is 8 o'clock here on the program as we scorch in the sun with a tiger who even has run away from the sun.